In the Rosemont High School learning community, we have worked hard to develop some core beliefs which we try to deliver on a daily basis. For our students, including their voice in this process, there are 5 that they've helped to develop for us and for themselves: to act in a kind, encouraging, and inclusive manner, respect themselves, others, and the school environment, actively pursue opportunities for growth, take ownership of and engage in their learning, and act with integrity and honesty. We try to make these come alive in different ways, and one of those is the Irish Way Value of the Month, where we talk about those concepts and try to encourage students to behave in those manners. Also, we believe strongly in the AAA philosophy, which is a well-balanced approach for any student's experience at Rosemont High School in the academics, arts, and athletics. We develop our comprehensive course offerings really to meet the needs and the life pathways that our students are on to reach their dreams. But one example of where we make decisions can be seen in the graduation profile of where our seniors and our students are saying that they are headed in their post-secondary goals. 90% on a regular basis are attending a college, university, or 2-year institution. 2%, we're proud to say, are dedicated to enlisting in the military or attending a military academy. 2% are usually going full-time into the workforce, and that 6% undecided usually fall within those main 3 categories that are there. Really what this means is a lot of what we'll be discussing focuses on the 90%, but we believe in the worth of every student walking into our doors, and we believe in trying to offer everything we can, whether it's a student trying to earn a scholarship to go to an elite institution, or a student who sometimes will struggle in school and needs extra support to be successful, maybe just jumps right into the workforce right after graduation. We're going to seek to meet the needs of every student and family that we're going to interact with. Objectives of the presentation, of course, is to provide a welcome for our families and students that are going to join in this learning community, review and explain some key things, the course requirements for overall graduation, but it's particularly for 9th grade, talk about the registration materials and resources that we will have available, about the process in general to complete registration successfully, and then have some honors and special information available towards the end. Every student at Rosemont High School has a counselor assigned to them by their last name. You can see who your counselors are on this particular page. If you have a last name from A to CI, it's Ms. Jennifer Bolus. CJ to HA, Mr. Kyle Desjolais. If it's HB to MA, Ms. Lori Martinson. MB to RA, Mr. Scott Ostis. If it's RB to ST, Ms. Candace Denson. And for Mr. Chad Terry, SU through Z. Also, if you're an Avid 9 student, Ms. Candace Denson would be your counselor. On these first few slides, I'll discuss registration materials as well as online resources that you can utilize to help your student register. If your son or daughter was an 8th grade student from Rosemont Middle School or Scott Highlands that visited Rosemont High School for a presentation and tour on Wednesday, January 15th, they were given an incoming 9th grade registration guide which has all classes for 9th grade students. They were also given an elective opportunities handout which highlights the elective opportunities available for them to register for next year. In the registration guide, whether it is the online portion for all Rosemont High School students or the printed version that is just for 9th grade students, the front section about the first 10 pages is general information that is all the same. In the handout I referenced earlier that parents received, in pages 1 through 5 of the handout, it has a part of the general information. After that front section comes the departments organized in alphabetical order, with art being first, then followed by business, English, facts, and so on. Again, if you go to the Rosemont High School webpage, the button on the right-hand side that references registration for next year, if you click on that button, it will take you to the one-stop shop registration page with all information. Here you see the homepage for Rosemont High School. In the red circle is the link or quick link you can click on to get to campus to log in to register online. In the blue circle is the registration button to click to get to the one-stop shop, and the yellow circle highlights the counseling page link where you can go to multiple online resources for the counseling department, including the registration guide. Having selected the registration button from the home page, it takes you to this one-stop shop, all resources available here page. Again, the red arrow at the top indicates where you can still hit the quick link to online register at campus. It also is a red arrow down within the page which says to register online, which takes you to the same campus link. The yellow arrow points towards a registration help link, which will automatically develop a questionnaire for you to email with any problems logging into campus, any questions you might have about the process of registration. That email will go automatically to me and other RHS Tech folks for help. The blue arrow down towards the bottom of this page would click to a link for the detailed timeline for all events and process-oriented dates regarding registration for incoming 9th graders as well as our current 9th through 11th grade students. A little further down the registration page, the red arrow points towards, again, a link to the registration timeline. Just below that are campus online registration instructions and a video that is posted just below that, which actually takes you through that process and how to register for a course. Just below that is what you're viewing here, the presentation handout for this presentation and the main presentation which you're watching. 9th through 11th grade in the green arrow, parent registration workshops for parents of students that are currently in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. If you wanted to preview something that would occur in the future, you could look at those. In the blue arrow pointing towards the registration videos that current 9th, 10th, 11th grade students watch in their homeroom about what to consider and register for in the subsequent year. And then towards the bottom with the yellow arrow, these are examples of grade-specific registration forms that students were provided. And now towards the bottom of that registration homepage, the red arrow points towards the registration course guide link. This would take you to a page where all of the course offerings for all students are located, as well as towards the bottom of that next link page, the incoming 9th grade registration course guide that students were handed in a paper copy. The yellow arrow points towards a specific link that highlights honors, AP, and CIS programming. The green arrow, I would highly encourage all students and parents who are 9th grade or coming into 9th grade to go look at this guide and watch this video. Career development are offered to 11th and 12th grade students only. However, early planning and thoughtfulness will help lead you towards some of these exceptional programs offered throughout our entire district. And then at the very bottom, the blue arrow points towards any information needed for new students or students who like to transfer into Rosemont High School. Graduation requirements for the state of Minnesota and District 196, which include Rosemont High School, are below. The course selection philosophy is addressing in 9th grade, you really have a lot of required courses. For example, math, English, science, and social studies are all required. 3 courses in physical education, health, and 1 in the arts. This helps to build a strong foundation to get off to a great start in your academic career in high school. As you move through subsequent years, 10th, 11th, and finally 12th grade on the right side, your schedule starts to open up where there are very few required courses. For example, only a full year of English and social studies is required. Then all the other courses you wish to pick are up to you. Many elective opportunities are there, including career exploration and ability to prepare for post-secondary opportunities and maybe directly entering into the workforce. The general District 196 graduation requirements, which are summarized in the handout on page 2 and 3, are to successfully complete 66 credits. Now, Rosemont High School has a 7-period day and has 3 trimesters, so that means 7 times 3, 21 total courses you can take or credits you can earn in the course of 1 year. That would translate into 4 years or 84 total credits you could earn, but you need 66 to graduate. That means that you might have some opportunities to take some study halls or to not take a full load in particular trimesters or years. You do need to meet certain graduation assessment requirements from the state of Minnesota, which include MCAs or Minnesota Comprehensive Assessments in reading, math, and science. There also are college placement exams that are taken in the 10th grade year, the pre-ACT, and the 11th grade year, the ACT. The ACT is of course known as one of those components that many post-secondary institutions, colleges, and universities request or require in some cases to report to gain admission or scholarships into their institution. This page is simply a copy of what is in the registration guide at the very top for 9th grade specifically, in summary of what is required. A summary of what a student would need to graduate from Rosemount High School. There are 4 years of English and 4 years of social studies required, 3 years of science and 3 years of math. However, as there are over 80 to 90% of our students considering attending 4-year institutions and post-secondary colleges and universities, many of our students take 4 years of science and math. Of course, on the right side, 1 arts course or 1 trimester's worth of credit, and then a combination of 7 total PE and health credits, 2 health, 4 physical education, and 1 safety ed course. After those required courses are satisfied, there are 16 additional elective credits needed to fulfill the 66 needed to graduate from Rosemount High School. Now, speaking specifically for 9th grade students, we'll go through core areas and electives. Math. The 3 courses that are the second part of algebra to complete are intermediate algebra concepts, and fast-paced intermediate algebra. If a student had completed all of the intermediate algebra in middle school, they would move on to honors geometry. Rosemount High School staff and Rosemount Middle School and Scott Highlands Middle School math teams shared data, met, and provided recommendations for students. So students who are pre-registering with counselors on Thursday, January 16th will already see those math classes entered in for them. Now, these math courses were entered, but they can be changed. So if a parent or a student wishes to have a conversation with their middle school math teacher, you would certainly could ask the question if that's the class they need to take or if they could take one of the other options. In the other 3 core areas, they're pretty simple, straightforward choices. In English, a student would either choose on-level English or regular English 9 or honors English. In social studies, government and citizenship or honors government and citizenship. And then in science, earth with physical science or honors earth with physical science. The arts course that needs to be completed to graduate from Rosemount High School can be taken anytime in the 9th through 12th grade year. If a student takes 1 arts course or band, choir, or dance, whether it's all year or 1 trimester, they will fulfill that arts requirement. There are a few select courses also in the Business, Facts, and Technology, Engineering, and Design department. In Phi-Ed, 9th grade students are required to take 3 physical education health classes. Every student will take Exercise and Sports Science 1 and Exercise and Sports Science 2, otherwise known as ESS 1 and ESS 2. Then for the 3rd credit, depending on their birth date, they'll either take Safety Ed in trimester 1, 2, or 3, or for the younger students, they may take Fitness and Activities. The Minnesota Department of Transportation helps determine when students will be eligible to take Safety Ed. It depends on when they can take their driver's safety permit test. So in order for students to take safety education, if students were born before September 7th, 2005, they are a little bit older in their class and they are able to take Safety in trimester 1, so would select 0807. Then they would have ESS 1 in trimester 2 and ESS 2 in trimester 3. Students born between September 8th and February 7th in 2006 would select the winter or trimester 2 course for Safety Ed. Therefore, they'd go ESS 1 in T1, Safety Ed in T2, and ESS 2 in T3. Students born between February 8th and May 14th would select trimester 3 Safety Ed or 0809. Those students would take ESS 1 in the fall, ESS 2 in the winter, and then have Safety Ed in the spring. Students born after May 14th or May 15th on would wait until the first trimester of their 10th grade year to take safety education. It's not all bad news, however, in that those students would take Fitness Activities, a freshman-only Phi-Ed class, and that would count towards one of the total 7 Phi-Ed credits needed. They're just taking that class early rather than taking their sophomore or junior year. So after those required courses are fulfilled, the rest of the classes are available for electives. On page 6, 7, and 13, 14 of the handout, it lists those courses. Students must enroll in enough elective courses chosen from any department so that the total credits is equal or greater to that of 18. Again, students take at least 18 credits, no more than 21. If a student takes less than 21, they would be signed up automatically for study halls to get up to 21 total periods of the day. So if a student selected 18 credits, they would have 3 study halls. If a student signed up for 20 credits or classes, they would have 1 study hall sometime throughout the year. Again, as a review, we have a 7-period day, and then 3 trimesters. You would have 21 total credits, and in 4 years times 21, 84 opportunities to earn a credit and take courses. There are multiple support classes for students who may want to take advantage of getting extra support or jumping into a specialized program. AVID is a course that stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, is an in-school academic support program for grades 9 through 12 that prepares students for college eligibility and success. This is for all students, but it does specifically target those somewhat towards the academic middle. Academic literacy is determined by students' MCA scores and achievement in middle school courses in English. If you qualify for academic literacy, you are automatically signed up by Amy Ketchum, our literacy specialist. It is a small group year-long literacy class, helps students to improve on reading skills, and the emphasis is on learning a variety of comprehension strategies to improve self-monitoring and to maximize learning in the content areas. Students or families wishing to not take academic literacy would need to contact Amy Ketchum to talk about their options. WESEP, or the Work Experience Career Exploration Program in the Work Experience Department, is a 9th grade course that is targeted for students who need extra academic support. Students who may have struggled in core classes need a connection for positive support within a school that they definitely have potential but may not be meeting those goals yet are eligible for this course. Mr. Will Finley is a contact, the 9th grade Dean of Students, for this particular opportunity. Jumping into the registration process. The timeline where January 15th is where our 8th grade students from Rosemont Middle and Scott Highlands visited Rosemont High School. They received a registration guide for incoming 9th grade students, listened to a presentation about what they need to consider for registration, honors programming, heard from our elective teachers specifically on their opportunities or courses they offer for 9th grade students, and received a tour of the building. Thursday, January 16th, our Rosemont High School counselors then visited the Rosemont Middle School and Scott Highlands students at their respective middle schools and got them registered online in campus, or at least started. Thursday, January 16th, the 8th grade parent registration presentation took place, or you're viewing this presentation in place of that. In order to complete registration, there are paper documents to fill out that were provided to students when the counselors visited them at their middle schools, a blue registration form and a blue registration course list. But students also need to go onto campus, or their parents can, to register all their courses online. The open window for all Rosemont High School students is Tuesday, January 21st through Tuesday, January 28th at 5 p.m. Things to consider throughout this process: please encourage your student to own their own learning and choices. Include them in the conversation and ask their opinion on what they believe is going to be best for them, whether it's deciding to take on-level or honors courses, or what kind of elective choices they're considering. Please encourage your son or daughter to also talk to their teachers, counselors, and to make those informed decisions. And obviously, as a parent or guardian, with any questions you may have, your middle school teachers know their students best in their respective areas, so please feel free to call them or to email them with any of those questions. One thing we're asking all parents and guardians to consider, as well as students, is that the choices you make during registration season will be year-long commitments. It is not an option to choose courses now and to change courses because you simply change your mind close to or at the beginning of next year, and certainly not after we start. So it's very important that we make very firm decisions now and stick to them as we move through their scheduling process. So as the deadline approaches to complete the registration forms and registration online through campus, that January 28th deadline in a couple of weeks, Friday, January 31st, our high school staff will return to the middle schools to collect their blue registration form, the blue registration comprehensive course list, and we will bring with a confirmation sheet that shows what students registered for online through campus. We will sit down with every individual student, verify that everything is correct, or make corrections on the spot to make sure everybody's on the same page and all the registration is completed properly. After registration is over then, there's nothing more for the student or family that needs to be done for the rest of the school year. We will use all the registration information to build a master schedule, hire teachers, and schedule them to teach their appropriate courses. During the summer, we will send a welcome back mailing to the families in early August, which gives all the information needed to get the school year started off right, as well as the announcement to go into campus to view your exact schedule, when you will have your courses scheduled at particular periods and trimesters throughout the day and year. There will be one opportunity for a schedule review period prior to school starting that will be articulated in the welcome back mailing. There are designated times before school starts. The requests will need to be made online, and there are of course specific criteria needing to be met to be considered for a course or schedule change. We'll now start to go through specifically the registration form and the comprehensive course list. Again, the RHS counselor handed out these forms to the Rosemount Middle School students and Scott Highlands students when they attended a meeting with them on Thursday, January 16th. If you do not have these forms, you can get them either at Rosemount High School or at your respective middle schools. If you're following along on the handout, the page numbers will help get you to those specific locations as I talk through this process. First to discuss is the registration form and comprehensive course list. The form looks like a blue folder, and the comprehensive course list is a stapled multiple page sheet. So the form, you would on the very front page see there are activities, athletics, and arts activities and clubs that you can indicate interest. It is not to sign up, but it is to let any coach, advisor, or director know, hey, I would like to receive information in the future, whether it's information about camps or when to register or when different events are going on. We really highly encourage students to become active and have fun with their high school experience by being involved in multiple activities. When you open the page and you get to the inside cover, this is where you will register on the registration form for your courses. You will see different boxes indicating English, social studies, science, math, Phi-Ed, and then in the bottom left-hand corner, a box where you record your elective choices, and a box in the bottom right-hand corner where you will record your alternate or your backup choices for some electives. What you will also do is then use a comprehensive course list to mark an X for every course you select. So you'll really indicate what courses you're choosing in two places. You'll write it down in your registration form, that blue folder, but you'll also mark an X on the course list to correspond. This slide shows on page 9 of the handout the area of the registration form that is the English box. This student in this example has chosen to sign up for on-level English 9A, 9B, and 9C. A is occurring in first trimester, B in second trimester, C in third trimester. So to take the full year of English 9, you'd sign up for all three. They did not select Honors English, and the blanks at the bottom, sometimes on a rare occasion, a ninth grade student may need to take a different English course. However, 99% of our students are choosing one of the two above. On the right-hand side, the second thing you do would be to go to the comprehensive course list. Again, in the packet example on page 12, you would go to the English Language Arts Department offerings, which has all the courses offered in Rosemount High School, and you would mark the same 3 X's for English 9A, B, and C. This is really double checking to make sure that you're not only signed up correctly in the form, in the appropriate box, but also marking all of your X's in that course list as well. After you have worked your way through English, math, science, social studies, and Phi-Ed, then you get down to where you have some elective choices. Again, on page 9 of the registration form in the handout, you see in the bottom left-hand corner in this example, I've filled out a student who's going to take French all year, so they sign up for French 1A, B, and C. Then the student chose 3 singleton electives, or 1 course in Intro to 2D Art from the Art Department, Intro to Business from the Business Department, and Intro to Fab Lab from the Technology, Engineering, and Design Department. So this student would also then go to that comprehensive course list, page 13 to 14 in the handout. They would find the Languages of the World section, and they would mark an X in French 1A, B, and C. They would also find the Art Education Department and mark an X in Introduction to 2D Art, find the Business Department, mark Intro to Business and Marketing, and then find the Technology, Engineering, and Design area and mark an X in 1135 Intro to Fab Lab. What should be occurring here then is when that form is completed on the 1 page, the comprehensive course list should have 21 X's, and you really should have an identical match between the two. Next is the alternate course box, or the backups. Now, any course you choose that's required, you will get that course. You do not need an alternate for English, Math, Science, Social Studies, or Phy-Ed. Also, if you sign up for a Phy-Ed class, sign up for a music class, or a world language class, you will get that course and you will not need a backup. This is really for the courses on the 3rd page of the comprehensive course list. Otherwise, the 1 column that has the arts, business, facts, and tech ed. If you have those, more often than not, 90% of the time, you will get that course. There is a rare occasion where the schedule is so complex that your 1 course maybe doesn't work and will need to go with a backup. This is called an alternate in campus, so that's the terminology we're using here. So this student, in this example, signed up for a backup or an alternate. Their first choice, the first one would be to pick if one didn't work, would be Let's Eat. Their second choice is Swing and Latin Dance. And their third alternate or backup in priority order would be Introduction to Computers. Now notice on the right side, you do not mark the X on the comprehensive course list. This is because these are your backups. If you mark the X on here, you would be indicating 22, 23, and the 24th class of which you can't take because you can only take, again, 7 classes per try in 3 tries for 21 total. So the only thing you do here is mark the alternates in the alternate box. You don't add them to the comprehensive course list like you did with all of your other selections. So after you have completed the registration form on that 1 page and you've completed your registration comprehensive course list, you proceed to the 3rd page of your registration form, which has the online instructions for how to register through Campus. You would then take all those course selections, input them per the directions into Campus until you have everything properly registered. That is on page 10 in your handout. After you have completed the paper versions, registered online, now it's time to go through the checklist on the very last page of the registration form. This is designed to make sure that if you check off every step on the checklist is completed, you know you've done everything correctly on your form, on the comprehensive course list, and registered online in Campus, which is the most important step. This not only includes registering for your classes, but it also includes indicating those areas of interest for the athletics, the arts, or the other clubs or activities. And also you would mark down your alternates in Campus as well. So in summary, what you need to complete, you have your registration form and your registration course list, those 2 blue documents. You fill those out completely following directions. You use those to then, what you see in yellow here, log into Campus and register all those courses, activities, and alternates online. Once you've done that online, you go to the back page of the form, walk through the checklist step by step, and make sure you've done everything properly on the form, the course list, and Campus Online. And once you've been able to check everything off, now you're done, except remember you'll need to turn in your blue registration form and your blue registration course list during a homeroom at your middle school on January 31st. Some special notes regarding the registration process. As a reminder, remember math was entered for you with consultation from middle school math teachers and guidance from Rosemont High School math teachers. However, you can request a change if you would like to. Please speak with your middle school math teacher. In world language, if you're a student who's taken 2 full years of world language in middle school and earned all A's and maybe a couple of B's, we would highly encourage you to consider entering level 2. What this would mean is that you could take level 2 your freshman year, level 3 your sophomore year, level 4 your junior year, and then be eligible for college courses taught at Rosemont High School in level 5. If you struggled, even if you took 2 years or haven't really started world language yet, obviously you want to consider starting with level 1. Please do consult your world language teacher for that advice. Marching band is by audition only, as you've been instructed through your band classes. But if you have some dancers out there that have been a part of a dance culture for maybe your whole life, if you enroll in Dance Tech 1, you don't need to do anything. Just sign up for Dance Tech 1. If you'd like to be considered for some of the more advanced dance classes to leap past level 1, this would also be by audition, and you need to connect with Ms. Morris, our dance instructor. Special education students or students with IEPs will have transition meetings and work with their middle school case managers as well as the special ed team at Rosemont High School to register properly. Any questions from parents, guardians, or students regarding any IEP information should connect with middle school and high school staff. During the presentation on Thursday night on January 16th, this is where we ended the main portion, and counselors, special ed staff, and honors teacher were available to assist anybody with questions in the theater lobby. And then we continued on with an honors presentation session next. If you're interested in hearing more information about honors, please continue with this PowerPoint presentation. If not, you can end it here. Again, for those of you probably leaving the presentation, one final word of thank you. We really are excited at Rosemont High School and feel very blessed to work in a wonderful community with awesome kids and awesome families. We look forward to our journey together in the next 4 years. Welcome to those folks still with me to learn more about honors program considerations. We always try to travel to Rosemont Middle School and Scott Highlands to offer a voluntary session during typically their flex time during their school day. We bring our counselors, honors teachers, and current 9th grade students in honors courses to give perspective on what it's like to consider honors classes and also what it takes to be successful. We believe strongly including our student voice and getting their brains going early and often to really process and own their learning, encourage them to talk to their teachers, encourage them to talk to folks at home about what they'd like to do, what's right for them. Talking about the slide specifically, it's pretty straightforward. There's honors English, social studies, and science. If students finish the first part of algebra, intermediate algebra that is, they would automatically move on to honors geometry. Now at Rosemont High School, any of these honors courses can be taken independently or all together. In other words, some schools require you to take both English and social studies honors or on level. At Rosemont High School, you could choose to do just honors English or just honors science or any combination. Also, a consideration is that you can take future honors and AP CIS courses even if you don't take any honors courses in 9th grade. To be clear on what AP and CIS mean, AP stands for Advanced Placement. These courses are offered by the College Board, which also brings you the SAT, College Entrance Exam test. AP courses are a year-long course where students will take a test towards the end of that year, score a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and students typically scoring a score of 3 or higher would be eligible to apply for college credit at a future college or university. CIS stands for College in the Schools. These courses are specific University of Minnesota Twin Cities courses taught at Rosemont High School by Rosemont High School teachers. Very proud of these accomplishments because this demonstrates the level of expertise by our high school teachers and that they're literally qualified to teach college courses. They work within a cohort of the department of what they're teaching at the University of Minnesota, and they are audited each year, and they teach the course just like if it were taught at the University of Minnesota. So at the end of the experience, the student isn't taking one test, they've actually taken the course. They have a transcript at the University of Minnesota, they've started their GPA, and they can transfer those credits and send that transcript to any other institution that would receive it. Why enroll in the honors program? So the honors program offers an accelerated and enriched version of the regular curriculum. Now, to be clear, all our on-level courses are college preparatory, so students don't have to take honors and AP and CIS courses to get college ready. It's accelerating that pathway. It certainly is going to be more work. It's certainly going to be more challenging. The honors program places emphasis on higher level thinking skills. This means that if a student is in class and they are taking good notes and memorize information, that's not enough. They often need to work independently, read that chapter or read that book, understand the information, and then be ready to have engaging dialogue with classmates, the teacher, write papers to a greater depth of understanding, synthesis, and also other challenging activities. The honors program provides an excellent preparation for future high school advanced coursework or courses. In other words, if you were a student who wanted to take a future AP or CIS course, you could take on-level English 9 and certainly take that AP course, but it would be a larger leap to get there. Kind of like that transition from middle school to high school. It's a successful transition for most students, but certainly there's a leap going from middle school to high school in intensity and rigor and expectation. The same is said for moving from high school to college. There is a transition where there's a large gap, and some students struggle to meet that transition. Others make it more smoothly in their high school to college career pathway. If students are then taking honors courses, it is more challenging early, but it raises the level of expectations, it raises the rigor, and prepares them more quickly and probably a little more thoroughly to make that easier transition or more likely successful transition into an AP or CIS course. And that being said, if students are then taking AP and CIS courses later in their high school career, sophomore, junior, senior year, they're then going to have an easier transition, be more prepared to move into their college or university. Other considerations for the honors program. So these courses are, again, excellent preparation for future honors AP CIS courses, future college and other post-high school studies. Colleges and universities do look for these types of courses on student transcripts. For example, if a student earned a 3.5 GPA, which would be an A- grade point average by the end of their high school career, and they took no honors AP or CIS, just all on-level classes, that's certainly a great accomplishment. But if you took another student who had a lot of AP, honors, CIS courses and had a 3.5, colleges will look at that and will consider that in accepting that student for enrollment to that college university, as well as scholarship opportunities themselves. History indicates that students taking honors courses score higher on the ACT and SAT. So again, students challenging themselves a higher degree of comprehension, higher thinking skills, as well as a wider variety of offerings, typically do better on their ACT scores, which also translates into scholarship opportunities and greater likelihood of acceptance in those colleges, universities that use the ACT. Also, an honors distinction is awarded at graduation for students who are taking 2 classes or 2 full-year classes all 4 years with a B- or higher. They would receive a gold stole at graduation if they're able to accomplish this feat. What are the characteristics of an honors student at Rosemount High School? Well, this is literally according to our 9th grade honors students, what they have said in surveys and feedback. They've seen this from themselves and from their same age peers, who's successful and who struggles. Number 1, they need to be highly motivated learners. They are curious, they want to learn, they're ready to go every class period, engage in the learning of all the honors courses they're taking to a higher degree than maybe their same age peers. They're independent learners, meaning they get things done on their own. So they don't have mom or dad or teachers chasing after them to sit down and get to work or to complete homework or to complete high quality work. They're capable of mastering concepts quickly. Because these honors courses move quickly and a lot of work piles up, procrastination is not an okay thing. In class, concepts are going to be taught at a higher level. So you might have a student who has a strong work ethic, who really works hard and long hours to get work done, which is a good thing. But if they may struggle to get things quickly, that may be an extra consideration as to one honors course or maybe multiple honors courses, not having to load up with too many hours of homework every night because it might take them a little bit longer. They need to be capable of higher level thinking. So again, if a student struggles with abstract concepts or being able to grasp math, things of that nature, or some science ideas, or a deeper level of comprehension and understanding of what they're reading in English, that might be something to consider if on level is the right place, or they can handle either one or multiple layers of honors courses in their 9th grade year. And then the last main bullet, able to turn in all assignments on time. Turning things on time all the time. Studying in general, because a lot of middle school students have not developed study skills for tests, and certainly not just the night before, but on a regular basis. And the strongest word of advice by all the honors 9th grade students consistently across the board, they're driven by a strong work ethic. Again, they're doing the right thing on time, every time, not procrastinating, having good organizational skills, high functioning all the time. This last slide is one of the areas that is summarized in the registration guide and your handout, but it is helpful to kind of pick out all the future upper level honors AP and CIS courses. So in the English department, taking honors English 9 leads to a more likely pathway. Honors literature is the honors course in 10th grade. In 11th grade, there are two choices, AP language and composition, or in college English 11. That is a concurrent enrollment class like a CIS class, except it's a partnership with our local community college, Inver Hills Community College. So it's literally their entry-level kind of freshman English 101. In the senior year, a student could take AP Literature and Composition, or if a student is in the top 20 percentile GPA, they'd be eligible for CIS Comp Fic, or an English Composition and Fiction class that would be taken at the University of Minnesota. In math, Honors Geometry leads to an accelerated pathway of Honors Algebra 2, Honors Pre-Calculus, so in the senior year, a student could take AP Calculus AB, or then the accelerated version of Calculus, AP Calculus BC. Students who are triple and quadruple accelerated, which we have some, they can lead to Calc 3 or multivariable calculus, Calc 4 linear algebra differential equations, of which again we have concurrent enrollment agreements with local community colleges. And also another class that might be taken a senior year in place of an AP Calc, AP Statistics. In science, after Honors Earth Science, Honors Biology and AP Biology. One word of caution for AP Biology, this is perhaps one of the most challenging courses that a sophomore can take, and that traditionally 10 to 20 years ago, students would have been required to take Honors Biology their sophomore year and wait till their junior or senior year to take AP Biology. This is because it is highly intensive in both the amount of reading, the technical reading, almost like a foreign language with all those new science terminology and words, but also those abstract concepts that are difficult for a lot of students to grasp in a true AP or college level taught biology course. Honors Chemistry in the junior year, and likewise AP Chemistry even more so. Students are encouraged to take Honors Chemistry then AP Chemistry in their senior year if they'd like to, but some of the very highest achievers who are really taking one of the most difficult courses you could probably take at Rosemont High School in AP Chemistry. Honors Physics the senior year, and the students who sometimes have taken AP Biology, AP Chemistry will take AP Physics. There are some students who will take Honors Biology, Honors Chemistry, and jump into AP Physics, and that's a good pathway as well. There's also more of an elective science in CIS Physiology. Again, it is a University of Minnesota course, which would be college credit, but is mainly focusing on an elective nature of physiology, not a core academic course in one of the three required areas of science. Then lastly, in social studies, Honors Government Citizenship. In the sophomore year, students take U.S. history. In this case, the honors course, there is an honors, it jumps right into AP U.S. history, of which is a special consideration for itself, because this is definitely a jump up in rigor. For an honors student, it is more intensive than honors. It's AP in their sophomore year. Then in the junior year, students will take one of two choices in their AP history courses. They'll either take AP World History or AP European History. Then in the senior year, students will have an eligibility to take AP Economics or AP Psychology or AP American Government. One last slide to have one last piece of advice when considering your honors choices for not only ninth grade year, but for the rest of the high school career as well. We're very proud of the offerings that we have and all of our students and families that really take great pride in accessing all those opportunities. In the advent in the last decade in particular with mobile devices and social media, I think families have really gathered, but also it's been seen through research and our own educational experience. It's been a trend that even our highest achieving students are really struggling sometimes with mental health and life fit and balance. Really carefully consider this freshman year in this transition to high school, what is the right fit and balance for your particular student, and make the right choices for them. Really to take into consideration the outside of school activities, the arts, athletics, things outside in the community that they may be involved in, and that there will be a commitment of time for their academics outside of school hours as well, and to make sure that they're not spending all of their time focused on just academics and then being overly stressed, not getting sleep, and having a tough ride their freshman year. It's better to start with a firm foundation while still challenging them to do their best and access those high-level courses, but then freely move forward the rest of their high school career with their honors, AP, and CIS choices. Please feel free to contact us at any time. Your high school counselors, your high school administration, and your high school teachers are now at your access because you're part of the Rosemount High School learning community and family. Welcome to Rosemount High School. We are looking forward to our journey together. Thank you.